the third naturalized player. And next year po will be a busy year, no? We have the final window in February, window 6 po, window 6, and then it will be in Manila. It will be played po in Bukawi po. Back to back po 'yon. We will have Lebanon and Jordan coming over, and we will be hosting them. And then sa May po, we will have the Southeast Asian Games where we have a mission to reclaim the lost gold. And again po, tinitignan po natin na si Justin will be an integral part of that quintet, no? And then after that po, the coaching staff has plans of having camps here in Europe and in the US kung saan po magkakaroon ng possible camps, no? And then after the World Cup po in late August, early September, we have naman po the Asian Games in China in September immediately right after the World Cup. So after that po magkakaroon naman ng Asia Cup qualifier windows in November. That's the plan po ng FIBA to start that, no? So we will have a very, very hectic, this is just for the elite team, men's team natin. And having Justin here, the preparation is very much in place. Quietly lang po tayo. We have been doing our regular once a week practices. Huminto lang tayo right after itong huling window. But quietly, the team has been doing it. And people will probably say na baka once a week, anong nakukuha nyo, anong nakukuha ng team. But nakita naman po sa performance natin itong huling window that ang ginagawa po ng team, we grab every opportunity we get to practice po. Si Justin, sinabi po ni Executive Director Sunny Barrios, was even po if he did not have, hindi ho siya makakalaro for that window, for the last window, he still insisted on practicing with us. And he was instrumental. He was part of the scouting team. He was playing the star player of our opponent, of Jordan, and you're playing Tucker, right? Tucker's position. So that, yung preparation. So hindi naman basta-bastang scouting team lang. And Justin was very integral in the preparation. So yun lang po. I think preparation is going well and could be better if Justin gets on board, because it'll definitely be a plus sa atin, sa ating pag-prepare ng team to play for the World Cup and all the other competitions next year and beyond.
Thank you, Mr. Antonio.
Thank you, sir.
For the information of this body, we have a Canadian swimmer who won the gold in the Tokyo Olympics, and a silver and a bronze in the Tokyo Olympics, who would want to become a Filipina likewise and carry the Philippine flag during the Paris Olympics. So this is a reverse. She's now a Canadian, but she wanted to become a Filipina athlete. We now focus some questions to Mr. Justine Brownlee. With the permission of my colleagues, can I throw the first 3 punches or questions?
Punches.
Because I thought this is boxing. Mr. Antonio is a very adept in boxing history and narratives. Mr. Brownlee, you've been in the Philippines for several years. Any favorite Filipino food?
Chicken adobo, Chair.
Chicken adobo.
Adobo.
Chicken adobo. Nagugutom na tuloy kami dito. Magtatanghalian na. You've been around any favorite place here aside from your usual tourism place?
Been to a few places, Batangas, Boracay. Tagaytay, yeah. I like Tagaytay. Nice and cool there. So Tagaytay was very nice.
You willing to play for Tagaytay? Will be the champion in Cavite. That's just a jest. So, is there any reason aside from uh, just playing basketball that made you decide to become a Filipino? Is there any particular trait of Filipinos that endeared them to your heart? And I know you only have one heart. Is there any characteristic of the Pinoys, of the Filipinos, not just what you saw in Metro Manila, that probably made you decide that this country, this pearl of the Pacific, is the right place for me?
It's just really just how the people get along and how everyone treats one another. Just being in the U.S., it's a lot of hate. You know, it's a lot of diversity and stuff like that. And I just always seen how people, less fortunate, and they just happy and they just get along and they know everybody know how to treat one each other. Um, I know it's a very busy city, so just people paying attention and just being mindful. Everybody is not in a great situation, but just making the best out of every situation you in. And I took note of that and I take things like that to the heart because I try to be a humble person. Of course sometimes it may not be easy because you want to show what you can do and be proud of it, which you should be. But I try to have some humility, and I think the Filipino culture, they definitely have humility and a lot of pride, which I really like, and I like to see it.
Thank you. One last, I have one last question before I let my colleagues ask you some questions. Once you become a Filipino citizen, you'll be required by the Department of Justice and other government offices to familiarize yourself with some Filipino laws. Probably you might be required to read the Philippine Constitution or even some ordinary laws passed by the Congress. I would like to uh, place attention to a particular provision in the Philippine Constitution which states this. And I'd like to ask your question. This is Article 2, Section 4 of the Constitution. But before I ask that, can I ask you one personal question? Have you served under the uniformed services of the United States? Army, Air Force, Navy, Coast Guard, National Guard?
No, sir.
So no military training or participation in any exercise in the United States Armed Forces. You know particularly well that we're visited by 20 or more typhoons every year. You've seen that when you're here. The last big one was Paeng. Under Article 2, Section 4 of our Constitution, and I quote, "The prime duty of government is to serve and protect the people. The government may call upon the people to defend the state, and in the fulfillment thereof, all citizens may be required under conditions provided by law to render personal, military, or civil service." Are you willing to do that? Are
Apo.
you willing to defend the Philippines? Are you willing to participate in any disaster, calamity, rescue operations during typhoon season?
Apo.
Your answer is opo.
Apo.
So that means you're willing to join the Philippine Army Reserve Force.
Apo.
Thank you, Mr. Brownlee. I have no further questions.
Mr.
Unless
Chairman?
my other
Mr. Chairman.
colleagues will ask questions.
Yes, Mr. Chairman. In relation to your question, Mr. Chairman, uh, Mr. Brownlee was born and raised in the state of Georgia. And for his information, that's where I got I took my U.S. Ranger course in Fort Benning, Georgia. and US Army Infantry School. That's your place.
Yeah.
So, a very big military base, Fort Benning, Georgia. So, if you don't get your military background in your state of Georgia, I got mine there.
Okay.
So, just for your information.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Salamat.
Thank you, Senator Bato de la Rosa. Senator Villanueva is
Yes,
recognized.
yes, Mr. Chairman. Thank you. Just like to ask some questions. Don't worry, Mr. Brownlee, although Aljun Mariano and L.A. Tenorio told me that you're practicing Lupang Hinirang, I will not ask you to sing today. Um, I would just like to put on record, Mr. Chairman, the importance of what Mr. Barrios and Mr. Antonio shared with us. And it's such a heartwarming story to hear from the nominee, Mr. Chairman, that he is more than willing to train with our boys, with our Gilas boys, because of his international experience. He's been going around the world playing international basketball. And let me also put on record that I saw him twice or thrice representing our country, yung Alab Pilipinas, Mr. Chairman, where he actually wore a Philippine flag on his jersey. So I'd just like to ask you, Mr. Brownlee, what's it like to wear a Philippine jersey, a Philippine flag in your jersey, representing our country, and what does it mean for you to become a true-blooded Filipino citizen and wearing this jersey representing the country in international games?
It means tremendously a lot, coming here in 2016 and just, I mean, right off the bat, just received so much love and, admiration from the fans. It was really, I couldn't believe it. It was overwhelming. And just wearing that flag, it seems like it allows me to give back to the people, the fans, and that's something I want to, just try to do. Whether it can be inspiration or motivation or winning games or practicing with the team, whatever I want to, whatever it is, I just want to, all the love that I receive, I just want to give it back. And you know, wearing that flag on my jersey, hopefully I can, just give some of that love back and, and motivation and inspiration.
I made mention a while ago about your first game experience here in the Philippines when you came in. You were not in condition. You weren't supposed to play. Imagine, Mr. Chairman, he was like the fourth or fifth choice for Ginebra import when Paul Harris had this injury and he was in Vegas. I don't know what you're doing in Vegas, and when you got that call, you flew right away to the Philippines. And I remember seeing you, Mr. Brownlee, playing your heart out despite your body condition, and I can see your tenacity and passion to really prove yourself. And I heard it wasn't easy because Coach Tim Con would not give up on you, would ask you to put more hours to train, etc. It would have been easy for you to give up and say, I'm just going back to the United States of America, but you stayed. So what fuels you uh, in proving yourself as a worthy import, and what fuels you now to prove yourself that you are a worthy Filipino citizen?
Um, before I before I got the call when I was in Vegas, I was a little bit down.
And is it true you didn't have any rubber shoes when you came in?
Yeah, it was yes, sir. Yeah, yeah. So in Vegas, I was a little bit down. Of course, just like a lot of athletes or basketball players around the world, they want to make it to the highest level. And at that time, I was pursuing the NBA, and I was actually in Vegas trying to maybe get on a team. They have the summer league there every year, so just trying to get on a team, just talking to a few people. But Cheryl, my agent, um, that passed away a few years ago, she called me and wanted me to come to the Philippines and play. And at first I was a little skeptical at coming because I didn't know what my future held. And when I first got here, you know, just hearing all the fans, I was wearing my practice jersey, the Never jersey. Yeah, just talking about NSD, Never Say Die, and they love the team. I didn't even know how to pronounce the name. I was calling it Gin Nebra because it's with a G, but um, yeah, so you know, I gotta admit the fans, they fueled a lot in me, and also my teammates, you know, but just coming from, you know, humble beginnings and wanting more and just always trying to grow and get better. And you know, my teammates, they gave me all the confidence in the world. Coach Tim, every day, you know, he would be on me, of course, because he spoke highly of me before I came, but you know, I wasn't in the best shape, so I couldn't prove, you know, at first what he was saying, but I just wanted to prove, you know, that I can play here, that I can be here, and you know, hopefully, if I keep working, I can be great, you know. So that's really it, you know, just wanting to strive for greatness.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and I'd just like to say this once again. You are an inspiration to a lot of Filipinos.